Hello and welcome to this edition of the O State Report. We're glad you're with us. I'm Nate Belt.
And I'm Alli Brooks. We all know that at OSU we have a high-profile football program. Many students come to OSU to study engineering, and our vet school is one of the top in the country.
But did you know that the university has just as much to offer in their hotel, restaurant, and administration program? They've hosted an event to showcase just how prestigious the program is. Here's Julia Benbrook with more. In less than 1 month, over 80,000 people will flood the streets of the OSU campus for homecoming. The excitement includes the walkarounds, all-night pomp, homecoming and hoops, and of course the football game against West Virginia. You may want to hear how the plans are going for this year's celebration. Amelia Henderson sat down with homecoming steering to discuss the events.
Cardinals left fielder Matt Holliday saluted the crowd after hitting a home run in his last at-bat with a winning score of 10-4. His brother, OSU coach Josh Holliday, is full speed ahead in his career as he gets the Cowboy baseball team ready for the season. From Omaha back to Alli P. Reynolds Stadium, there's quite a bit of work to do. I sat down with Coach Holliday to talk about what this year looks like for the team.
OSU softball ended last season with an overall record of 32-26. The team started their fall season last week and beat Cowley County 13-1, but that wasn't the only game they played.
The players are receiving some friendly advice from athletes just like them. Austin Ivan has more.
We're 8 weeks into the semester, so if you're a student at OSU, chances are you have midterms coming up. What are some ways to relieve stress and get your mind off the chaos? The union is providing a more colorful way to improve mental health. I sat down with students who experienced it firsthand to find out more.
That's our time for this week on the O State Report. I'm Alli Brooks.
And I'm Nate Belt. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on O State TV.
Hello, and welcome to this edition of O State Report. I'm Julia Benbrook.
And I'm Amelia Henderson. We're glad you're with us. We are less than 1 week away from one of the most crucial elections in United States history. And while you're still thinking about the next president of the United States, don't forget about the other important questions you'll be answering on November 8th.
This is a sample ballot for Payne County, Oklahoma. Not only are there questions over the next president and vice president, but there are also questions regarding the state. One in particular is about farming in Oklahoma.
I interviewed members of the Oklahoma Farm Bureau to find out just why it's important that you know the facts of state questions like 777. It is crucial that you inform yourself on the state questions before you fill out your ballot. We'll find out just what Oklahoma thinks on questions like 777 next week on November 8th.
Microsoft Corporation says that a hacking group previously linked to the Russian government and U.S. political hacks was behind recent cyber attacks that exploited a newly discovered security flaw. As a result, people are asking, how likely is it that someone can hack into my computer or even my phone? Is it possible that someone could already have hacked your smartphone? Nate Belt has more on how to find out and what to do about it. Well, that was quite the standoff to watch. Do you think that the bet that the coach made with his team actually affected their overall season?
I would say so. It improved their on-base percentage. So anytime you're on base, that means you have a chance or an opportunity to score. You heard Coach Gajewski say getting hit by a pitch isn't easy. The ball's coming at you fast. It hurts. But he's trying to create a mentality of toughness, and the girls really bought into that. They beat his original goal of 50, and they ended with 53 this season.
Wow.
So we know that Coach Gajewski is on his second year as head coach. So how's he looking so far?
Like you said, it's his second year here. So last year he took the Cowgirls to the NCAA tournament, a place the Cowgirls have not been to since 2011. Before OSU, Gajewski was at Florida for 3 years. 2 of those years, he won the NCAA tournament. So he comes from a winning program. He knows what it takes to compete and win at a high level, and he's bringing that to Stillwater. I would say last year was a successful season for OSU, and the future looks bright for the Cowgirls. They have a lot of starters that are returning, plus they're adding some talented freshmen and junior college players into the starting lineup, so there's a lot to be optimistic about for Cowgirl softball.
Well, thank you so much, Austin. We appreciate you joining us. That's all for this week on O State Report. Thanks for watching. I'm Julia Benbrook.
And I'm Amelia Henderson. Tune in next week as we talk about the results of the presidential election here on O State TV.
Edition of the O State Report. I'm James Wampa.
And I'm Austin Ivan. Thanks for watching us here at the Homecoming Walk Around. We're live in Stillwater, Oklahoma on campus.
Yeah, and it's been a pretty crazy week. We've got all the homecoming festivities going on, not to mention the awarding of the 1945 National Championship to the Oklahoma A&M football team, now known as Oklahoma State University. Austin, I know you heard a lot about it when it came out. Tell us a little bit how the response was.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of crazy. It just happened all of a sudden. I know students were really surprised by it, but they were excited that we finally got a national championship. I mean, it's 71 years later, though. I mean, no one was really expecting it.
Yeah, it was a little different. Basically, the Coaches Association kind of went back, and before the AP poll came out, they wanted to go back and before 1949 just kind of award championships that year, and so we got ours, and we finally got a championship. We're a little bit excited about it.
And we were undefeated that year.
Undefeated.
Once beat St. Mary's in the Sugar Bowl. And so we talked to Coach Gundy and see what his response was when he found out the news.
Hello, and welcome to this edition of O State Report. We're glad you're with us. I'm Austin Ivan.
And I'm Amelia Henderson. It was the Super Bowl of politics, the most watched presidential debate in history.
You likely watched the debate on TV or on YouTube, as Democrat presidential nominee Hillary Clinton and Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump went head-to-head in the first of 3 debates Monday night. The candidates discussed and argued over topics such as economy, race relations, and national security.
And just in case you were wondering, the next debate in the series is the vice presidential debate on October 4th. And Clinton and Trump will meet again in the next presidential debate on October 9th. One of the key target audiences of the presidential candidates is the college age of students. Our Julia Benbrook sat in on a debate watch party and has more on how the university is trying to get more students involved in the election. Julia?
Now that the first debate is over, you likely notice the current buzz about the upcoming elections is increasing. But talking is one thing, voting is another. As of the last presidential election, college-age students and people between the ages of 18 to 24 were the least likely to register to vote. OSU is making efforts to ensure the involvement of students in this year's election, starting with this week's debate.
So Julia, can you tell us what the students' take was on the debate?
Right, well, it was very interesting because Payne County actually voted in favor of Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz during the primary election. And so everyone's still trying to figure out where they stand on these issues and who they want to vote for.
With the debate lasting over 90 minutes, were students' tendency to leave or did they stay the whole time?
Most people actually stuck around. I know I actually spoke to an international student from France, and she stayed until the very end because she said this decision would impact her just as much as it would everyone else.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Julia.
Of course, thank you.
The talk of Twitter is the most watched presidential debate in history. A record-breaking 84 million people tuned in to watch, and a lot of those are chiming in on social media.
We went through Twitter just to find what a good example was said. Jacob tweeted that Hillary won because she responded with clear answers on what her plans were like any normal, strong, intelligent candidate would do.
Joe tweeted that he's heard a lot of how Hillary looks like a rehearsed politician, and people are tired of it. Evan tweeted that our country needs better and more deserved than what the 2 major party candidates offer.
Playing bingo during the presidential debate isn't the only event the school has planned. OSU actually has an entire week devoted to getting students involved in the elections.
And Vote Week in Oklahoma is like Oklahoma State's way of saying you should register to vote. And this week that included talking politics and eating pie. And here's Alli Brooks with more. If you're one of the thousands of students who pays for college through federal loans, you may want to hear about the changes made for the free application for federal student aid, better known as FAFSA. I sat down with undergraduate admissions to find out how these changes could affect your application.
And that's our time this week on O State Report. I'm Austin Ivan.
And I'm Amelia Henderson. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time on O State TV.